Okay, in the previous part, we studied about how these fundamental rights are protected by different commissions. We came from the court, how the legal system, the judiciary plays a vital role in protecting the human rights. And then we came to talk about different commissions, the Right to Information Commission, and then the Commission for Human Rights, okay, in the international level, from the UNO, and then from the national level, and then state level, okay. Then different commissions for women, then commissions for children, okay. Right now we are going to once again see how democracy and then child rights in the changing context of rights, okay. Now there are different rights, they emerge according to the science of the time, according to the time, okay. So you see, we are in a changing society, and therefore our needs, okay, every change brings with its own with its own needs, we could say. And therefore, according to the needs, the rights, they are kept on added. They are being added up into the constitution. Okay, we observed in our discussion on the concept of rights that rights change as human needs and thinking evolve. Very important. Okay, the rights, okay, human rights, they change as according to the human needs and according to how we think, okay. So apart from basic needs, there are different aspects of human life, different value system and ideals gain importance in society from time to time, okay. Take for example, many European countries now recognize sports as a fundamental rights of children. Children have got the right to play, okay. That's a fundamental right, okay. How these rights was how it was realized over the period of time, okay. We observe, we think, we evolve, and then it becomes another kind of fundamental right to the children, okay. Similarly, many countries have formulated special rights for people with special needs. What are special needs? People who are who cannot see, people who cannot walk, people who have got different needs, different diseases, okay. So even they also need special care. So it was realized over the period of time, okay. So in India too, this particular act was enacted in the year 2000 and 1995, okay. It's called PWD rights, which is people with disabilities rights. So in that case, these people with disabilities, they got their own basic fundamental human rights, okay. So they are being taken care of, okay. 50 years ago, it was probably difficult to imagine that children would need special rights for their well-being and security, okay. It was growing problem of child labor in the country across the world that led to the enactment of Child Labor, the Prohibition and Regulation Act, okay. Under this act, anyone who is appointing a child to work anywhere can be penalized, can be taken into prison, okay, because he is violating this particular right, okay. So he is violating against child labor, okay. So this act seeks to prohibit, to stop the employment of children aged below 14 years in dangerous occupation. So all children below 14 years, they cannot be employed anywhere. If they are employed, then they can be arrested, okay. Another important thing that we find in our democracy with regards to the enactment of rights, it's the Right to Information Act of 2005. How this particular act was realized? Because there were many people who are not much educated, they had so much difficulty in finding out the important benefits that the government was offering to them, okay. So they needed information, they couldn't get the information. So keeping that in mind, okay, so this right had the evolution of 30 to 40 years of the experience. So the government came to know, okay, right, so these people, they should know what we really do, what we really offer them. And therefore the government came out with this Right Information Act. It's a fundamental right, Right Information Act of in the 2005, okay, so that people can be benefited from the government schemes, okay. So whether it was a case of laborers in Rajasthan not getting the minimum wage, or panchayat's share of funding in a government project, the lack of information was depriving the people of their benefits. So what happened? So this demand to know slowly gained momentum, leading to the Right to Information Act becoming the statutory requirement in the country. So under this act, we will know what government has decided, what is our own right, okay. Another thing, in the past several years, India's Supreme Court and the High Courts in many states, they have been viewing different cases through prism of fundamental rights. Okay, they have given judgment based on the fundamental rights. Okay, but now the courts accept that clean drinking water, pollution free environment, and food and education should also be seen as integral to the right to live in a dignified life. Therefore, courts they recognize these fundamental rights. Okay, right to have a clean drinking water, right to have a pollution free environment, food, okay, and education, they are all fundamental rights, and therefore they also take this into consideration when they pass judgments. Okay, so the example is given here, the example how this goes evolve. Okay, so you can just read through this one. And then in today's world, rights are important medium for countries that call themselves democracies. Okay, as I told you, democracy means rights is an integral part of democracy. Okay, and therefore what happens, apart from the government entities, there are many public and private institutions and organizations that are mandated, given to implement and monitor citizens' right. There are also, other than government organizations, there are other private organizations, they work for these rights. Okay, even no we so we come under St. Eugene English Medium High School, no, it comes under OMI. So it's a registered society in the Indian Government Societies Act, and therefore we work for your right to education. Okay, so we are example for this one. So even today, many countries and many citizens in India are denied some of their basic rights. So many people are still struggling to realize their rights. They are also demanding new rights as their lifestyle and life needs evolve. Okay, therefore as we grow, our needs grow, our needs change. Okay, so basing on that, our rights also slowly they are changing their phases. Okay, so the scope of rights keeps widening. It is a responsibility of citizens to acknowledge the importance of rights and fight to acquire them. Is very important. Please memorize this one, is very important. The scope of rights, they keep changing, they keep widening, we can say, instead of changing. Okay, and therefore it is our duty, our responsibility to acknowledge, to accept the importance of our own rights and fight to acquire them. If it is your right to vote, you have to fight for it. Okay, that is why it is important for citizens to remain alert and be aware of their rights to prevent governments from becoming an authoritarian and dictatorial. Okay, please, the last word is very important for you. Okay, be aware of your rights. Okay, if you are not aware of your rights, then you are letting the government to become an authoritarian or dictatorial. They can simply suppress you, oppress you. Okay, so speak for yourself, speak for your right. Okay, so with that we complete this lesson, and you see the address here, this address for the national human rights. Okay, this is very important. So these three addresses, I will just post it there in the school website, and therefore whenever you want, you can refer to it. Okay, all right, so with that we complete this lesson. Thank you. Please answer these questions, and if there's any doubt, please you can ask. Okay, right, thank you, have a nice day.